Before I became ill with mesothelioma, my life was beautiful. I used to ride bikes. I used to work with heavy equipment, demolition, rebuilding buildings. My last job actually became to be maintenance supervisor. One day I started feeling pains, chest pains, shortness of breath, also bit of dizziness. My boss decided for me to go to the doctor. They did certain tests, x-rays, took some of my blood, so on and so forth. And through the tests, they find out that I had mesothelioma. When I saw that I could not work anymore, that I needed help to be able to support my family while I'm going through the hospitals, because you cannot really work when you have to be 2 or 3 different hospitals in a week. And also with the medications that they give you, money is very important, especially when you got to pay insurance for the family and for myself. Medicines that cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I had to do something, and I decided to put a lawsuit, especially because of the way I felt, that anger, that I didn't know why this was happening to me. So I had to consult some lawyers. Luckily, Levy Phillips and Koenigsberg was there for me. I explained my situation to
Asbestos is known as a magic mineral. It's impervious to heat and to fire. It's strong, it's light, and it's inexpensive. So in the Industrial Revolution, starting in the Industrial Revolution, it was used in a lot of industrial materials.
Companies that use asbestos knew that their products were dangerous. They knew that they would cause disease, and it was basically a calculation on whether or not they could pay the claims in the future and make more money today. And that's what they did. They said, yes, it makes financial sense, put it in the products.
By 1960, it was undisputed that asbestos exposure could cause mesothelioma.
And the only known cause of it in the United States is asbestos.
Mesothelioma is a horrendous disease that painfully ravages the body and makes some of the strongest men I've ever met into shadows of their former self. It is by far, and most medical experts would agree, one of the most painful diseases that you could possibly have. It's just become more and more and more clear and undeniable that even the smallest exposures can cause this terrible disease. And then there's another track of the history that shows corporations, companies who made a lot of money making asbestos-containing products, covering up the dangers.
Anywhere that someone has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, we can help that person. We will go to their house, we will meet with you, we will talk about your different medical options and treatment, we will talk about the different kinds of support services that your family might need while they're going through this time.
It could be the husband, it could be the wife, sometimes it's a child. And without that financial recovery, there's times they may not be able to maintain the home. Because they're losing an income or a pension, they may have to sell their home. Because medical bills can add up very fast, and there's no support out there because not everything's covered by insurance. Traveling to hospitals where their specialties are covered, like the University of Chicago or Mayo Clinic or special cancer centers, that involves travel, airfare, even hotel expenses, that people need that money to be able to pay for those things so that they can get good treatment. Without the recovery, a lot of the families won't be able to survive, and with the recovery, it makes going through this illness a little bit easier, but certainly doesn't ever make them comfortable.
Sheffian Mazzucaro has over 25 years in handling brain injury cases. And what sets us apart from other firms across the state is that we recognize that brain injury cases can often be subtle. Sometimes brain injury cases are obvious. You've been knocked unconscious, you may have had a direct head strike. But in our experience in handling traumatic brain injury cases, we call them TBIs, we found that someone who suffers a minor TBI may not even be aware of it. They might be aware only of a change of personality. They might be aware that they've been crying. They might be aware that they're emotionally agitated. We recognize those symptoms. In handling a traumatic brain injury case, I have two roles as an attorney. One, of course, is to get you the maximum compensation. But the second role is as important. We want to see you get better. And we have connections, for instance, to the Brain Injury Alliance of Connecticut that offer support groups, that may offer you assistance, that will direct you to providers who can help you to get better. And that's what it's all about.
clave para mí es la convivencia en INCAE, porque yo sé que muchas escuelas de negocios o muchos MBAs que se imparten en el mundo, inclusive de escuelas muy prestigiosas, solamente la gente va a las clases, se conocen las clases y después se va a sus casas, estudia y regresa a clases, y esa es la rutina, digamos. En INCAE no, en INCAE tú vas a clases, convives con la gente, te reúnes con la gente, y eso es algo que te agrega mucho valor. Estás con probablemente los top de Latinoamérica. Estás con gente muy inteligente, muy capaz, que ha sido de los mejores puestos en sus universidades, y no solo eso, sino que tienen experiencias. Entonces, y además de eso, es que tienen profesiones distintas. Tenemos desde administradores, economistas, ingenieros, doctores, químicos, agrónomos y abogados. Muchas veces en las clases que tocamos temas de repente profesiones que uno no conoce y cree conocer, pero que un profesional en el tema te puede realmente decir y te puede abrir los ojos. El tener gente de nivel en la clase te anima y te alienta y te empuja a tener un análisis más profundo cada vez. Muchos están pensando como tú, entonces tratas de realmente competir continuamente con hacer la diferencia entre los demás, y los demás lo hacen igual que tú.